Hippocrates, the ancient Greek, who we know as the father of medicine, said, "First, do no harm." He also said, "Let food be thy medicine," suggesting that the connections between food and health is an ancient wisdom.
I like it.
However, knowing what is right and doing what is right are often at odds with one another. Our relationship to food is a learned relationship, and that learning starts young and continues throughout life. The good news is we're an adaptable species, and whatever bad habits we've picked up, there's always a possibility to change for the better.
I believe it.
We are here because, we could do it on an individual basis, starting with ourselves and our families. But I'm probably preaching to the choir here because we're here because we want to change on a systemic level. We want all school children across the board, from any background, from any neighborhood, from any city, and every place, to grow up with the appreciation, knowledge, skills, and habits of what it takes to eat and live well. Schools are where we educate our children, our future citizens. They are, in fact, apprenticeship communities, models of what we would like our future communities to look like. If we want citizens who respect and appreciate the place they live in, that treat neighbors civilly, that know how to pitch in and help, that understand the connections between land, soil, water, and air, and that know where their food comes from and how it was grown and who grew it, schools are where it's at. Center for Eco-Literacy Board Member David W. Orr, and for those of you who don't know that name, he's one of the leading voices in the environmental movement. He's extraordinarily well informed on the state of our environment, politics, economics, and education. David was in town a couple of weeks ago, and during a public lecture, he reminded us once again about the power of metaphor. This master educator was reminding us of our ability to learn something somewhere, and then through image and language, take that learning and apply it elsewhere. Now, I love metaphor, and while musing on the effort needed to affect change in schools, and the significant resistance involved in making that change, the image of a lever came to mind. The classic lever. On one side, the load, or resistance, if you will. On the other side, the effort, or the force applied to move that load. And somewhere in relation to these, a fulcrum, or a pivot point, that creates the mechanical advantage that multiplies the force. As one of the classic simple machines, we forget how often we use levers to our advantage in daily life. A pair of scissors, a wheelbarrow, an upright broom, a car door, a bottle opener, tweezers, hammers, fishing poles, all use the principle of the lever to make our efforts that much more effective. We needn't imagine, however, that the lever is useful for only mundane efforts. Another ancient Greek, Archimedes, once said, quote, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." Effort, fulcrum, resistance. The principles are there, implicit even in metaphor. In closing, I submit to you that we imagine how food is our perfect fulcrum and how best to use this to our advantage so that we can multiply our force. There is still a lot of heavy lifting to be done, but this one issue, the getting of real food into schools, can connect and address so many of our problems. Central as it is to our culture, our health, our environment, to our sustainable future. By considering food as our fulcrum, we can collectively leverage our combined efforts and overcome whatever resistance is in our way. While ostensibly we are here working to get real food into our schools, we are actually here together, creating a better and more hopeful future for all of us. I thank you for all the good work you're doing. Vote with your fork.